All right, so we are back. This is something different. So to give you a little backstory for the channel, uh, I know I do mostly video games, um, but I don't look like it in today's world. But I lifted weights for 2 years straight, about 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, roughly. Um, Lifting actual weights probably 6 hours in a gym, but I would be there for about eight. To give you my perspective on this, if you have brain cells, you would realize that this guy is not natural. Now, I totally understand the misconception of the fact that the way he eats and stuff, raw stuff, raw meat. I mean, he eats the raw stuff. He eats the actual, I don't know, testicles and shit. I understand that there's that misconception between, okay, maybe he really is natural, but the problem is this guy's in his 40s. Okay, I have seen people that look insane, at very young ages, and I will say that I would believe this guy a lot more if he was in his mid 20s, early 30s. I really would. I would really, but the thing is from lifting weights for so many years and spending so much time in the gym, I can see signs where he's just not natural. Now, personally, I have never taken steroids in my life. To be perfectly honest with you, I was going to at one point. I decided that I did not want to shoot a fucking needle in my ass, and I'm gonna be so truthful with you about that. So there's my issue. Second of all, really quick before we get into the video, if you notice his tits, his chest, you can see they're pointed down, and because he's so inflated, right? And if you look really closely, which is hard to see in these videos, but I did notice it, and you can see how his nipples are pointed down. That's from the growth. There's so much growth within so little of time, probably within the last. I'm not a complete pro expert on this, but I've seen it happen to a lot of guys that take this shit. And I would say 1 to 5 years, he's bloated of his body so much. Your chest starts to almost come down. It happened to me. I mean, even mine. I mean, mine are more outwards, but even me, it started to happen to. And so his abs. That's another thing. I don't know how he's achieved these abs. I mean, I understand that human growth hormone really does this. If you take a lot of human growth hormone and you take it for a long period of time, usually, well, you cycle on and off from it. I'm pretty sure. I mean, I'm not 100%, but something of those lines. So I think back to my point here. I lost my train of thought. Oh, you can see his stretch marks in some of these videos. Now that's completely normal, but if you look really closely, they're really deep, and he's been putting stuff on them to really cover this stuff up. Because when you take that shit, you are gonna grow at an immense rate, especially when we've seen the leaks of him taking $15,000 or so dollars ish, I think, of steroids. So we're gonna get into the video, and I'm gonna just give you my opinion, kind of almost like obviously a review. But like I said, I did lift weights for 2 years. I don't look like it now. I'm fat, fat and goofy now, and I'm gonna just give you my opinion and thought on what I think is gonna happen. And good publicity or bad publicity is no such thing. Publicity is publicity. You know what I mean?
Primals, I'm making this video to apologize. Because I fucked up. Because I'm embarrassed and ashamed. Because I lied. And I messed up a lot.
And see, this is the problem I have. And, here's the thing. If you want to better your life, your fitness goals, I'm starting the video. Listen, take your steroids. It's your life. Do whatever you want. And I'm telling you right now that I would rather someone be taking steroids and better their life than to be out, smoking meth. I mean, obviously we have our things here, and he has a personal, he has a, I don't know a doctor um, of some sort monitoring this. So, to be completely fair, this guy is doing it the right way, and I think if he was not selling the fact that he's natural, um, and that you can do it by eating this fucking meat and following this guide, I would be like, listen, who cares? But the problem is when you start to sell that, you know, I can say, look, I'm a pro golf player, and you should get lessons from me, and then I teach you something I have no idea how to do golf, and you go, well, that's kind of weird. I've never seen anybody do that, and it just kind of works for you, or it doesn't work for you, but it just kind of works for me, and I just get a bunch of people buying my program, but yet I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing. This is kind of the idea, because most of these people that, now I'm not gonna say everybody, but most of these people that are buying this program off of him, these people have no idea what the fuck they're doing. They're sitting in their fucking mom's basement, and it's not everybody. Like, I understand that some people want to live this lifestyle, and that's fine. But I'm just telling you right now, like, you're just fooling people. You're just putting shit right up at people's ass. You wanna get big like this guy, you're gonna have to take some shit. And if you don't, you can go to the gym and do it naturally. You can't achieve this naturally, probably not, especially not his age. I've seen people that look about his size without taking steroids. Maybe not as shredded, but definitely his size easily without taking steroids. But that's the thing. He's 40 some years old or whatever he is. So, all right, I'll stop talking here. I'm kind of rambling.
That this is a complicated as fuck topic, at least to me it is, because before social media, I was rich and anonymous, and after social media, I'm still rich, but no longer anonymous.
Well, I mean, yeah, you were rich before social media, but you just wanted recognition. You wanted to go on this spree, and I don't know if this is an ego thing or what exactly I would call it. But it's you like I don't get the point here. It's like, dude, you are rich regardless. Like, and there's no such thing as bad publicity. So, like, I don't know.
And I never expected this kind of exposure in the public eye.
Well, you should have. You no 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 no. You should have, because you are taking steroids and you are selling something that says, "Hey, you can achieve my physique," which nobody should ever think, because everybody is their own person. But you can achieve my physique or look like me, or even, um, you know, do the things I do if you do my 9 step program or whatever the fuck it is. So yes, you should have expected this exposure if you were taking steroids and then claiming on 20 different podcasts that you're natural. I'm sorry, that's just how it is.
It's been tricky as fuck to navigate. Well, clearly I did it wrong, and I'm here now to set the record straight. Yes, I've done steroids, and yes, I am on steroids, monitored and managed by a trained hormone clinician.
And I think that's a fantastic thing. I think whatever he hormone, I mean, it's probably just a fancy word for doctor, but more someone that's a specialized in hormones, and I think that's fantastic, and I commend him for that. And look, it's his life; he can do what he wants. But like I said, back to the fact that you're selling something, you're selling a lie. You're selling a lie. That's all it is.
Larry King, the public figure, was an experiment to spread the message, to bring awareness to the 4,000 people a day who kill themselves, the 80,000 people a day that try to kill themselves. Our people are hurting at record rates with depression, autoimmune, anxiety, infertility, low ambition in life.
This is a really solid point. I forgot he says this in this video, because I have watched this video. I won't lie to you, pre-watch. Um, but yeah, so, and I think this is fantastic. What he brings up here, because I know he's trying to put this off, and I don't look at it so much as like putting it off on and trying to like make an excuse, because I really think this is true. This is so fucking true, man, because it's the same thing that happened to me, and it's just the same thing I kind of have some feeling now, whereas I know I'm fat now, and I know that I've taken so long off from the gym now that I don't look anything like I used to, and it does make you I you know I wouldn't say now that I care as much now that I'm a little older and I have a little more self esteem or whatever you want to call it. But this is very true. I mean, when I used to look in the mirror, I was skinny. I was a real skinny kid, and I said, "Man, I just wanted to be. I wanted to look good. I wanted to impress people. Really, for me, I wanted to be able to walk in a room and they go, "Man, man, you're pretty big, man." That was always my goal. I wasn't really meant. I wasn't really lifting weights to get girls. I mean, maybe in the beginning that's kind of my goal, and then I became like kind of like a freak. Um, more so that, and that's just the mentality of lifting weights for so long. I became a freak. Whereas I just wanted to be bigger, 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 better, faster, stronger, the biggest guy in there. The strongest guy in there. But I do agree with this. I think 100% he helps a lot of men and maybe even women that have struggle with this suicide because of depression. And they look in the mirror and they don't like themselves. And I agree. I think this is fantastic.
Our young men are hurting the most, feeling lost, weak, and submissive. So I made it my job to model, teach, and preach a simple, elegant solution called ancestral living, the 9 ancestral tenets, so our people no longer have to suffer, so we can.
These steps, I don't know about these steps. Um, you know, I ate, slept, and breathed, however you would say it, at the gym. And, um, you know, these steps, no. You don't have to follow these steps. I went to the gym, and now this varies for every person, obviously. But I went to the gym for, I told you, 6 to 8 hours a day, roughly, and for 5 days a week. And I'm going to tell you right now, you can eat whatever the fuck you want to eat, and most people, I wouldn't say every person, but most people, I went home, I ate chips, I ate ice cream. Now I wasn't a fucking fat ass and ate the whole bottle of ice cream sometimes, once in a while, but I ate things that weren't, I would say, a healthy thing, and that's because of how I worked out too. But it's, I don't know, it's not something. Whereas like these 9 steps in eating liver is gonna make you fucking jacked out of your mind. I just don't think that's the case. I think it takes a lot of hard work, dedication, and um, mental state to do something like this. I really don't think these 9 steps are gonna buy your ticket to freedom, self esteem wise.
Collectively express our highest and most dominant form. This is my fight. This is why I exist. While spreading the message, I've been on several podcasts, and when asked if I've ever taken steroids, I've always said no, I don't touch this stuff, not gonna touch this stuff, never touch this stuff.
Well, I've seen the interviews of when he was saying it, and I could tell he was just lying from the way he said it. But to be fair, obviously we know he's on steroids now, so that could be just because I know that, and it can transfer differ from a lie because now I know and how he said it then. But I could kind of tell when I seen the interviews, I could kind of tell he was lying. I mean, obviously I know he's lying, but you know.
That was a lie.
And that brings me quickly. I know I'm really making this video long, but that brings me to my next point. Is that this is where people get it fucked up, man. And this is one thing I want to, if anybody ever watches this video, which I doubt, but if anybody popular ever watches this video, this is where you need to listen and actually pay attention to what I have to say. Him taking steroids doesn't give him this physique for free. That's one thing you need to understand. This guy has probably worked his motherfucking ass off to get this physique. So, the next time, this is the problem with modern, I would say modern millennials, is the fact that they think, they go, oh, he's taking steroids. They don't think about the years of lifting weights, the 2 or 3 workouts a day, going to the gym. They don't think about all the food that you eat. 10,000 calories. Some of these guys eat 15,000 calories sometimes. That you have to put down your fucking gut, and they don't respect the amount of work and effort and time that you have invested. And I do respect that. I don't give a fuck how much steroids. He could be taking so much steroids he could croak. I respect it because you cannot You cannot physically take steroids and sit on the couch and look like him. It's not physically possible. It just isn't. No matter what genetics you have. I don't think, I mean, okay, you know, there's going to be some nanny out there, some fucking idiot that's going to be like, oh, you're just wrong. Okay, you can do this and that. But listen, I'm telling you right now, I respect it regardless. Selling it is the problem. Okay, but I respect it. It takes a long time. It could have taken him 10 years to look like this, and 10 years worth of steroids to look like this. Okay, so that's one thing you have to understand, is that this shit ain't free. You don't just take steroids and look like that. You don't just take steroids for 6 months and look like that. That's just not how it is. That's just, unless you're genetically, you know, big and you can shed body fat. So, okay, back to the video. I'm sorry, this is long.
I've convinced myself that this had nothing to do with the ancestral message. I convinced myself that I'm not a competitive athlete of any kind, so who the fuck am I cheating? I convinced myself that this topic was a placeholder for a far more important conversation. I convinced myself that this would overshadow the 36 years of working out, usually twice a day, without...
See, and this is exactly my point here. Okay, and for those 36 years, he could have been half of them without steroids. He could have started taking steroids a year ago. We don't know that. He doesn't say this. I'm pretty sure. And people don't respect that. And that's something you have to respect. Okay? And that's just what it is. You know? I mean, in my opinion, I respect it. You may not. Your grandmother may not. Your fucking mother may not. Your fucking cousin may not. But I do, because I'm someone that's had to work my ass off before, and I haven't taken the shit. But I can tell you, even if you take the shit, it don't matter. You still gotta work your fucking ass off. And actually, it gives you an excuse to work your ass off harder, if that makes sense, if that's some kind of toss-up.
I've convinced myself that this was the vocal minority, usually in the fitness category, driving to an unproductive conversation. And I had convinced myself that this would be the wrong message to send to the 15-year-old boys. So I continually dismissed it.
All right, because you don't want to, obviously there is kids that buy this program. And you don't want to say, well, yeah, I've achieved this by taking steroids, and then these guys are like, well, and then it puts their, I wouldn't say their ego, but their self-esteem to the floor, because they realize that they cannot, they think that they cannot be better by not taking steroids because they're following this guy. Does that make sense? If that's not clear enough, I mean, it's a really, and steroids is a really touchy subject because people, they do that same shit I just said. They go, oh, that's steroids. You know what I mean? So.
Into a bigger and deeper hole. I have only myself to blame. I did that. And it was all wrong. I will be better. I will talk about it openly because I believe that there's a time and a place for pharmacological intervention monitored and managed by a trained hormone physician.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. I think that, once you reach your physical limit, which I did for a while, I would very slowly get stronger, very, very slowly. And I think the reasoning behind this is you reach a point in lifting, or bodybuilding, or whatever you want to exactly call it, or sculpting your physique, that you have to say, I've reached my genetic limit. Do I take steroids and do I get bigger, or don't I? Do I just stay in shape and maybe I've built, I've gained a bunch of weight, and now I want to kind of shed that weight off, and that's you're still able to do that without taking those supplements or those hormones and anabolic steroids. So,
In 2021, when I was 43 years old, I didn't feel 100%.
Okay, so he's 44 now. Okay.
So I went to get monitored and managed by a trained hormone clinician to see what the fuck was going on with my life.
Well,
So yes, it's true. I have tried several peptide combinations in an effort to increase my growth hormone, and it didn't work. Meaning that
peptide.
the levels still remained below the normal level.
Well, so now I might be misinterpreting what he said here, and I might have to rewatch this. So take whatever I say with a grain of salt. Like actually, I'm not joking. But the problem here is, and this happens to a lot of people that take steroids. If he took steroids 5 years ago, and I'm not, and like I said, I'm no doctor, so like I said, take this with a grain of salt. But I think if he took steroids 5 years ago or 10 years ago, and he took them for long periods of time and didn't have them monitored and did not have a professional and was doing it just on his own free time and was not doing this properly, yes, you would create that issue that you have now where you have low levels, guy. Like that happens if you took them before. Now, that's just about all I have to say about it because that's just the truth. Um, those low levels could be from that, or sometimes they you just have low levels. And the problem is when you're taking it, it's like already prescribed to you anyways. So like you can take extra and yeah.
So yes, it's also true that I've tried
And
all
you're
sorts of
rich,
great
so
growth
it's
hormones, and I
easy
finally
to
found success
cough up the
in
money
managing
for it.
therapeutic levels in the normal range. Yes, this is true. I've continued on with zero point 0.6 cc's of testosterone per week, roughly 120 milligrams of testosterone.
Now, see, I personally don't know if that's a lot or not. I have no
No,
idea.
I don't take any other steroids like nandrolone or winstrol, but I have tried them in the past.
Okay, he admits that. I respect that. Winstrol is a I've heard that steroid come up so many times. I know I could be wrong, but I think it's a cutter.
Without success. Yes.
Without success, bro, what?
Also true that my blood chemistry got all fucked up while taking nandrolone and winstrol. My lipids got all deranged. My liver and
Well, because you need to have it monitored by a professional. Like, dude,
enzymes went sky high, which is
he probably did not. This is what I was just talking about. He could have taken them in the past. He fucked all his levels up because he's fucking around not having a professional help him do this. Or maybe he did get unlucky and I give him the benefit of the doubt and he was being monitored and he went.
my clinical oversight.
I don't know, bro.
Absolute must. Nope. The Liver King brand has had nothing, or at least very little, to do with my business success. My companies were already kicking ass, already successful before the Liver King public figure.
And that's
Growing at
fantastic.
15%.
That's fantastic. That's awesome. But that has nothing to do with the fact that you're lying to people
Year-over-year,
and selling it.
it's still growing at the same pace after the Liver King public figure. Nope. I've never had ab implants, ab etching, or any other plastic surgery.
I think he's lying about the ab etching. Probably not implants. I've seen people with some pretty big abs before. Maybe not that big. I've never seen this guy in person, but I think etching maybe. I think I say it, yeah. But I mean, like I said, I take it with a grain of salt. I don't know this guy on a personal level. I have no idea.
Surgery, and I sure as fuck never actually had gene editing done in Singapore. I made all of that up.
Gene editing, get the fuck
It was
out of
all
here.
intended to be a joke, and that's an expression of ancestral.
Yeah, that's a joke.
Have a little goddamn fun.
That shit doesn't.
Ultimately, why did I, or why do I do them? When I talk about the 85% of the population that suffers from self-esteem issues, that's me. I'm part of that statistic. This is why I fucking work myself to death in the
Okay, this is a really important part of the video. No, that's not true. Your self-esteem, or it is true, but here's the question mark. When you get to these levels, because I know, when you get to these levels, you reach a point where you can't get any bigger without taking the shit. Just like I said earlier, you are reached your genetic limit, and at that point, you suffer from this self-esteem issue where it's like, I worked my ass off for 6 months, and I'm only lifting 5 pounds more, and I don't look any different. And it's a severe issue, okay? And yes, it is severe, but that doesn't give you an excuse that that's why you're taking steroid. That's not an excuse. You need to come out and say, look, I physically want to get bigger or and better. If that makes sense. If any of this makes sense. You can't put it in this direction that he has.
Gym. This is why I do 12 to 15 blood burning workouts a week. Just
Oh, I
to
believe
feel
it.
like I'm okay.
I believe
Because
it.
I have to absolutely crush myself to do so. And
You have to crush yourself because you're 40 fucking years old. Let's be honest.
I'm wrecked physically and cognitively, and hormone replacement has helped in a profound and significant way.
Well, yeah, it's
And
going
still,
to, dude.
I believe that the path to paradise is paved in
Why do you think that women that take steroids, anabolic steroids, why do you think they look like a man? Because they're taking testosterone that's way over the amount that they should be. So yeah, you're going to.
fucking hell. I previously have said in a weird way, I'm grateful for the recent events that have shed light on this complicated as fuck topic. I knew
I think you're
needed to take this
grateful for the publicity. I don't think you're
openly discuss
grateful for everything else.
for me to be a better human. If there are any questions that remain unanswered, send them my way. I fully own that I fucked up. I am as sorry as a man can be. And all I can do is take extreme ownership right now, be better, and lead myself to a better life as a better human. Again, thank you to everyone for the support, the criticism, the love, the hate, and above all else, the loyalty.
Okay, so I appreciate him owning up to it, and yes, you know, you have to deal with this now, and you know he has. It is what it is. At the same time, you know, it comes back. Don't forget what I said earlier in the video. You have to respect the fact that this man works his fucking ass off. You know, in my opinion, you need to respect that. And so that's really my opinion, guys. If you have any comments about anything that I've said in this video, definitely shoot me a thing. Um, you know, I would like to do some more of these if I get some people to watch them. I think I really broke this down quite a bit. We're looking at a 30-minute video. I've really felt like I broke this down enough to where people can understand where somebody of a caliber of my, you know, I'm no professional. I used to do a little bit of powerlifting. You know, I'm no god of a physique anymore. I'm a fatty, you know what I mean? But at the same time, I've gone through everything that this guy has in terms of maybe not, obviously not even anything close on social media, but I understand this simple life of how he's living, and I understand that at some point you have to take steroids to either maintain that physique or build that physique, which to build it you probably do anyway. So, I guess we're just gonna leave it at, you know, if you guys have any comments or questions, um, if I missed anything that you guys think you would like me to break down, or if you want to see some more of these videos, I don't mind doing these because it's an aspect of my life that I love. I love the people that lift weights, and I love watching them and breaking down my thoughts because I've done it and I've lived that life. So, okay, thanks guys. Peace.